Hello everyone, this is Aman, your Azure Data Factory trainer from Uplatz. Now, this is a complete course we will be doing for Azure Data Factory, and in this small introductory lecture, we will be learning that what is Azure Data Factory, a basic introduction of that, and we'll be discussing about what are the other things we will study in our coming complete course. Okay, so let us start with a small introduction of Azure Data Factory. First thing is that what is an Azure Data Factory? So if you go through the like when we learn this, Azure Data Factory is an ETL and cloud orchestration tool. So what does it mean? We'll be understanding this. So if I'm saying that Azure Data Factory is an okay, just let me take Azure Data Factory is an ETL and second cloud orchestration orchestration tool. So first thing, what does it mean? We'll understand this and then we'll discuss the complete content of ETL, our Azure Data Factory. Okay. So let us take one a small example, and through that we'll be understanding that what is an Azure, what is the role which an Azure Data Factory plays. Suppose we have a manager M, okay, and he has a very good contact with three people. Okay, first thing is that there is an industry chocolate factory. Okay, and this is a we can take an example of Cadbury or any, like in India we are using Amul chocolates. We have a international Nestle. So that is a chocolate factory, and it has a manager M. Now this manager has very well connection or networking with three people. One who supplies chocolate powders. Okay. Second one who supplies milk, and one who has supplied packing materials. Okay, so he has a very complete great link with this type of people. Okay, now there are three more labors he has, three workers. He has a worker one, I'll name it, and he has a worker two, and he has a worker three. And after that, the chocolate gets distributed into the shops, or I will speak about stores. So for a person who is a manager and who, like for a person X who has a very good networking with this type of people, first one who is chocolate uh, resources regarding chocolate manufacturing, he has a very good networking with them. Second one is he has a very good networking with the people who are the milk suppliers, and third one he is a very good networking with the people who are supplying packaging things like the wrappers of the chocolate, the boxes which we receive, like the ribbons we have while packaging the chocolates. So first he has a very great condition with connection with these people, and now he has three workers: worker one, worker two, and worker three. So for this type of person, it is very easy to establish a chocolate factory. Now what happens in chocolate factory, if you'll go through, first he will brought all the resources. Now I'll be first he will brought the chocolate resource, milk resource, okay, packaging resource, okay, and he will give it to the workers. So one worker will do each each worker will do different activity. Like worker one will do cleaning, okay, and worker one is doing cleaning. He's cleaning all the choco powders which we have received. He's cleaning the milk, like he's segregating the milks in different components. Like someone who has some milk which have a higher fats, some have a lower fat. So the quality can be increased or decreased according to the requirement. So worker one is basically doing cleaning. Now worker 2 is there. He is mixing. He is mixing chocolate powder with milk. And worker 3 is what he is doing. After the preparation is done, he is just packaging with the help of packing materials which is given. Okay. And at the end, what happens? The chocolate is transported and it's available in our stores. So this is the complete process of manufacturing the chocolate. Okay. Now what we'll do, just we have to replace certain things and it will be our ADF. Okay. So how it is happening, let us discuss. First, in the same way, like there was a manager and he was, let me discuss this here. What does ADF have? So this is a ADF, just relate it with the things. And we have a different data sources. Data sources like we have a operational data source, operational data. We have a data from cloud, okay, some on-premise data, and this data is coming to ADF. Okay, now this ADF here, the manager was just in just instructing this worker 1, worker 2, worker 3 to work out. Okay, similarly our ADF, in ADF we have a these three things, like our data is coming from operational data, cloud, and on-premise data, and this is a manager. He is he is ordering or he is instructing these workers, as like our manager was instructing the workers to do, like first was doing cleaning, second one was doing mixing, third one was doing wrapping it. So here our ADF, there are three activities. Okay, activity 1, then activity 2, and then activity 3. Okay, and then this is our main database. So just try to understand. So similarly, like we have our manager, he has a from three places he was getting some resources, and with the help of these workers he was manufacturing the chocolates, and now then it was transferring into stores. So here the same thing is happening. We have a ADF, Azure Data Factory, and we are getting the data from these three resources. One is on premise, another one is cloud based, and another one is operational. Now it has planned three activities, like we have a three workers. These three activities will be very different activities according to the requirement. So for example, we have a first activity of copying the data, second activity is of uh, mm, cleaning of the data, and third activity is of aggregation of the data. Now this activity is performed, and then this data will get to the some analytical resources. So so what does here our Azure Data Factory is doing? Azure Data Factory is handling this complete process of doing ETL. Okay, so here what is ETL? ETL is basically extract, transform, and load. So how it is happening? Let us discuss this. Where it is extracting first. Okay, it is not okay. Let me bring some different ones. Okay, so first here from the data it is coming. It is called E. E means extraction. Okay, so it is extracting the data from different sources. Now this these are the activities. These activities we basically called it a pipeline. With the help of pipeline, it is transforming, and then it is loading the data into it is loading the data. Okay, it is loading the data into some external uh, BI intelligence tools or data warehousing tools for performing some analytics. So this is basically three things. So it is loading here. So this is the three things which our Azure Data Factory is doing. First, it is extracting the data from all the different sources, and then it is transforming the data with the help of this complete pipeline. And then it is transferring the data from this pipeline into the sources destinations where the data will be used by our uh, our BI analyst or data analyst or data scientist for their requirement. So this was how our Azure Data Factory is an ETL tool. Okay. Now here, if you come here with the help of this image, I have tried to demonstrate that. See here, these are the three sources: cloud, apps, some sensor, Twitter weblogs, and on-premise data. From these sources, it is taking the data and it is performing transformation inside this Azure Data Factory, and then it is loading the data into our database, and then it is using in our Power BI or some analytical tools. So this is the basic task which is done by our Azure Data Factory. Now what we'll do, we'll we'll discuss this we'll discuss this ADF as ETL tool in very depth in coming lectures. Like after one or two lectures, we'll be discussing this in very depth. I hope this would help you to understand what does Azure Data Factory do. Okay, now we will undergo the course. What we will be studying, the total concept, all the course content we will be studying in this lecture, this complete course. Okay, so let us come here. So here, what you will do, overview of Azure and data services. First, what we will do, we'll understand what does Azure. Azure is a private public cloud, which is services given by Microsoft. And there we'll understand what is cloud computing. First, we'll understand. Here, I will be just writing all the contents. First, we'll understand cloud computing. Okay, because in Azure Data Factory, cloud computing is one of the basic requirement we should be learned. Okay, then we will be going through overview of Azure and its data services. What does Microsoft Azure, what are different services which Microsoft Azure gives? Then we will understand what is Azure Data Factory, key components of Azure Data Factory, and understanding ETL and ELT pipelines. So there are here I have just shown you this is an ETL pipeline. Okay, in this we will also understand what is ELT pipeline. Okay, and real world use cases and industry applications. What are different industry applications which are done nowadays with the help of Azure Data Factory? We will be understanding in our first module. Then we will jump into second module, and here we will be targeting about Azure Data Factory architecture and what are different components. So we'll be going through Azure Data Pipeline architecture. So what is the different architecture, pipeline architecture which Azure Data Factory has? Then we will be understanding some link services like what are data sets, what are data flows, how we can connect Azure Data Factory with different data services like Azure Blob Storage, Azure Synapse Analytics. So this we'll understand. Then we'll understand integration runtime, self-hosted versus Azure IRs. Then how the data movement is happen and what are basic transformations we can do in our Azure Data Factory. Then in third module, we will be learning about creating and managing the pipelines. This is one of the most important here because these are directly used in our industry. Okay, this third module and fourth module are one of the important thing which we can focus more to get a proper hands-on, and we will perform different hands-on to go through the complete course while going through the course. Now, then our fifth module will regarding security and access control, like what is RBSE in Azure Data Factory, in manage identities, keyword integration, how the data encryption and compliance standards happen, and how we can secure the on-premise data using self-hosted IRs. After then, we will integrate our Azure services, Azure Data Factory with other services like Azure Data Lake Storage. We will integrate our Azure Data Factory with Azure Data Lake Storage. Then we will see how we can interact with Azure Data, Azure SQL, Synapse Analytics, and Databricks. How we can, like here, we will be learning about integration of our Azure Data Factory with uh, um, different sources to different Azure services. Like here, we saw that in our example, here what we are doing, we are this is our Azure Data Factory, and we have linked our Azure Data Factory with a database, and now it is then linked into Power BI service. Similarly, we will be doing this uh, integration of Azure Data Factory with other Azure services. Then in seventh, we'll be studying about monitoring, debugging, and performance optimization techniques. What are different techniques out there to optimize the performance of Azure Data Factory? How we can tune and optimize the data movement? Because sometimes uh, it took a very long. Some who is a good data engineer who designs the pipelines very smoothly, and the data movement happens very swiftly without taking a very less amount of time. So he's one of the better data engineer rather than engineer who is designing a pipeline which is taking a lot of time, or that pipeline is sometime fail sometime failures happen. So we should be learning how we can design our pipelines which can be far better than other ones. So this will come in optimization of uh, data movement or performance optimization. What are some best practices we can do we can perform while creating the pipelines? And last, we'll see some real world scenario project, end-to-end data pipeline project. And then we will be going through CI/CD Azure Data Factory, how Azure Data Factory is also getting is used in Azure DevOps. Okay, so here CI/CD means continuous integration, continuous deployment. This is basically happening nowadays in Scrum whenever we are following agile what methodology, because in agile methodology we are continuously integrating and continuously deploying the requirement. So how Azure Data Factory is used in Azure DevOps, and then we will study about automating the deployments, how you can automate the deployments which we are doing with the help of Azure Data Factory. And last, we will get some case study and industry specific applications. And this I will give you as a bonus topics like real-time processing in ADF, advanced security and compliance scenarios, and hybrid data integration using ADF. Last but not least, we will be discussing some most important interview questions. Okay, most important interview questions along with practicals. Okay, I will not be covering like uh, I will going through all the concept into practical. It's not like I will be doing all the theoretical things. I will be creating the pipeline in front of using ADF. We'll log in our Microsoft Azure account. We'll check, we'll learn how we can create a pipeline, how we deploy the pipeline, how the data movement happens throughout the course. Okay, so be with this course, and I hope this course will definitely uh, give a boost in your career by learning Azure Data Factory. Be with Uplatz. Thanks for watching this lecture. Thanks and have a nice day.